Ah, well, so this sort of this tiny light device. This here is an example of energy. This uses an amount of stored electric energy for the purposes of just so it could generate light as a method of light generation. That brings us to this video. Energy, or the energy methods tiered. The tiering system for energy measured. You get my point. All of the methods of environmentally friendly energy measured. First off, this video was just a thing I had in mind. I was looking for making a second video in this hour or this night or this day or something, and I didn't know what I should make a second video about, but all of a sudden I thought of environmentally friendly energy because I always calculate all sorts of environmentally friendly methods of energy. So, this video is about energy measured. As this video is completely improvised, it's not scripted, and it's just a new idea I had, so not scripted, especially not scripted. The beginning, you have biomass. Well, as a plant has 1% solar efficiency, a plant is the weakest form of power because plants have 1% solar efficiency. They are basically solar powered. So plants, biomass, the weakest method, even though they are also among the most easy or easiest of all methods, making them an opposite of tidal. As you try and get a bit of power from the ocean, you get a lot of power per area, per squared or per cubic kilometre of water, or maybe air if there's a pocket of air in the ocean, pocket of air, the bubbles of Cthulhu. You can get a lot of power per area from tidal. However, it is far too hard because you have to put all of these wind turbines in the ocean. That is probably hot or warm or cold and freezing, and the currents are very strong, and you have all these many sea creatures. You have the starfish, cuttlefish, sailfish, swordfish, sharks. You have sharks. You have like fucking Cthulhu. Meaning biomass, tidal, they are pretty much opposites. They are basically opposites. However, a little bit more power, twice as much power per area as biomass, you have algae. Yes, you can make pond scum into a biofuel. Here's a bit of a tangent. You know the stylistic approach of a civilization, small town that's very spring themed? You know, something like in the Michael Myers version of Cat in the Hat. You know, a town or village that's very green and bright, colourful, and everything looks like it's very styled after something. There's no way I could explain it, but my best example is like the place from the live-action Michael Myers or Mike Myers film Cat in the Hat. You know, that sort of society, everything's all green and sunny. You ever get like an idea that could be a type of civilization, because it has been repetitive? I call that spring punk. Just a tangent, it's not really important or needed. Then because algae is twice as powerful as plants, because it's twice as much solar efficiency, 2% solar efficiency, algae should be twice as powerful. Even though algae seems to work, like it's more like 60% solar efficiency because it's 4 kilowatts per litre, it grows a litre per metre per day, that's more like 400 watts per square metre per hour, so 50% solar efficiency, 60% solar efficiency. And there's algae that is 99% solar efficiency, or 100. It's very confused, so biomass, algae, tidal, that is 4th tier. That is tier D. Then we have, just above biomass, algae, tidal, two very easy, well not very powerful, but one very powerful but not very easy, so it's not really much of an option. Even though it has a lot of potential, tidal is not really currently an option. You have the middle ground, the medium ground. You have the wind, the heat in the ground, and solar panels, sun. This being the range where this would be 20% solar efficiency, solar panel, or a wind turbine that is, as it's 100 megawatts, it's like a megawatt per an hour from a turbine, but 100 turbines per square kilometre, so 100 megawatts per hour as opposed to the solar panels 125 megawatts per hour. But instead of 12 hours of sunlight, of course a wind turbine is 20 hours. Take away the 4 remaining hours because the 4 hours that are left, all because of maintenance. That would be the sun and the wind, and then of course heat in the ground, geothermal. 150 megawatts per hour times 20 hours. Very hard, but probably far more costly, money expensive. However, very powerful. That's an option. That'll be tier C. And then you have, I mentioned solar PV, or I might have mentioned PV or photovoltaic. That's an important bit of information. Then you have everything above tier C, and that is of course solar concentrated and solar thermal. And thorium for the processes of nuclear fission. Thorium's 30 or 200 times more powerful than uranium, and the amount of thorium in taking into account 50% of efficiency, so from the 22,000 kilowatt hours per cubic centimetre, taking into account how much energy is in thorium, and 50% because of the 50% efficiency of thorium reactor. Of course you could then how much thorium per cubic metre, how many cubic metres per cubic kilometre, a kilometre deep by 1,000 kilometres by 1,000 kilometres, the amount of, that's 1,000,000 square kilometres, a kilometre deep by 1,000,000 or 1,000 by 1,000 squared kilometres, 1,000 by 1,000 kilometres. The amount of thorium could power the world for 200,000 years. Maxed out efficiency, that means, of course, that would be 400,000 years, meaning there's a medium ball sort of thing of like 300,000 years. You can power the world for 1,000 years from 70 by 70 kilometres, or 100 by 100 kilometres. 100 by 100 kilometres of Earth contains all the thorium to power the world for like 2,000 years, 1,000 years, 4,000 years. Meaning you have that 1,000,000 cubic and squared kilometre, 1,000,000 cubic kilometres, that is all spread out a kilometre deep, 1,000 by 1,000 kilometres. That's also the area you would actually need in solar panels as to power society hour by hour in sun. So that is the solar, and the solar in 2 options: concentrated because it's twice as powerful as the solar PV, and solar thermal as it's 3.75 times more powerful than the solar PV. As the solar thermal option, solar thermal that is like 75% solar efficiency. as of the... Obviously, solar thermal is above solar concentrated, except if you're trying to power a home, as the options for solar concentrated, that can be put on a roof. Solar thermal, that's not a thing you can put on the roof. But these tend to mix. I don't really have these in any order, so no, that's not bad, come on. That is tier B. Tier A/S, because I realised I should have dragged this out a bit longer or something, and oh god. Tier A. A black hole. Tidal potential. Heat in the ground, closer to the core of the planet we are living on. Yeah? And that's it. Oh, and of course nuclear fusion. There's not all that much time in this video, so I'm going to have to wrap all these up for today. So there is this one more option: antimatter, or matter-antimatter reaction. The amount of power in a gram of antimatter can power your life for over 300 years. That means 10 billion people could simply pick up a stone and live for 300 years, or a kilogram, maybe 1,000 cubic centimeters of material. Then there's the density of material. Antimatter, that is of course tier S, because all that is very powerful. It's the best option. There's not much time in the video, so please remember to please come and like and, or maybe dislike, subscribe, comment, come to the Discord server, the Power Zone I mentioned, the Discord of my creation. This really should have been scripted.